So I was very attracted to him. And so at one point he said something to me. He said, "Oh, what's your name?" And I, told him, Bhakta Bill. And he said, "Oh, yeah." So we talked for a few minutes, and then he went back talking to the family. But so I felt really good. He would just, took a few minutes to speak to me and acknowledge that I was there. But I didn't want to leave. I just kept sitting there because I was so attracted to him. I just wanted to be in his presence. I didn't care about taking prasad. I didn't care about doing kirtan. I just wanted to be in his presence. So then they all went and they took prasadam, and they said, "Oh yeah, we have to go move this stuff to the new place. Yeah, we have to go to the new place. We'll sleep there and then bring it in the morning." By this time it's 9:30, 10 o'clock. So I said, I didn't even want to leave. I just wanted to stay there. So they practically had to drag me out. So then the next day we get to the other program, and I said, we have to be on time. And they said, okay. So we got there on time to the next program. So one of my friends and I, we were dancing kind of in the back, because the people most people are sitting, and Lokanath Swami was sitting playing the harmonium. So my friend and I were dancing in the back. So Lokanath Swami motioned us to come and dance near where he was, in the front, right by him. So we're dancing ecstatically, and he's doing the kirtan. And then all of a sudden he jumps up and he grabs the kartal and starts chanting and dancing. As soon as he jumped, everybody jumped up. Then we had this real ecstatic kirtan. And then the neighbor of the people that we were helping to move, he was like a new guy. He was a Western guy, a new guy. He didn't know anything about Krishna consciousness, but he liked it. So he was dancing in the kirtan, and he was getting all sweaty, So he takes his shirt off, and he's swinging it around, and sweat's flying everywhere. But the kirtan just went on, nobody said anything, and he's dancing there, and he was kind of like heavy set guy, so he's dancing, he's jumping up and well, big white body, but look at that, so he's not phased a bit, he's just, very powerful kirtan. And then we finished the kirtan, and then I said, "Wow, this is amazing." Well, after the first night, I said, "Well, maybe he's my guru." Then after the second night, I said, "I think he is my guru," because I really loved his kirtan. We didn't hear his kirtan. I never heard his kirtan before, and so I'd never heard a kirtan like that. So then the next night, with the programs at the Sunday feast, said only the new guy and I went. Everybody else was wiped out. But, he said, "We're not going to miss this program." And so we were kind of late. So we're driving through, weaving in and out of cars, and finally make it to the LA temple. We jump out, we run in there. It's ecstatic kirtan led by Lokanath Swami again. So we had another really totally super ecstatic kirtan. So then after the kirtan, he shows the slideshow and everything. So then at that time, the LA temple didn't have a separate prasadam hall. Everybody, they closed the doors, and then everybody would sit in rows in the temple. So we did that, and this new guy and I were sitting right next to Lokanath Swami. So we all took prasadam together. Then when I saw Lokanath Swami had finished prasadam, I immediately got up. I grabbed the bowl and the pitcher, but when you wash your hands after you take charamrita, so I go up to take it to Lokanath Swami, and he takes some water, first washes his head, and then he takes some and he puts it in his mouth, and he swishes it around and then swallows it. So then standing next to him is the new guy. So then he does this. So I take the bowl in front of him, and he washes his hands, and he takes some water in his mouth, swishes it around, but instead of swallowing it like Lokanath Swami did, he just Lokanath Swami standing right next to him, and say if you're Lokanath Swami, and there's the guy right next to him. I'm holding the bowl. He swishes that and spits big wad of water right in front of Lokanath Swami. And I was shocked, completely shocked. And I looked at Lokanath Swami to see if he wasn't fazed at all. And I said, oh my God, he's completely humble and tolerant. If he can tolerate that, he can tolerate some guy doing that right next to him. He can tolerate anything that I could do. So I said, he's definitely my guru. So at that point, I immediately accepted him as my spiritual master. So then he came back in a few months. This was like in July. So then he came back in, I think, January. Came back in January of '89 because he was going to do the Padayatra in May. And so at that time, I asked him if I could take initiation from him. And he said, yeah, sure, no problem. And so he said, yeah, maybe we can do it in Berkeley, the Berkeley Temple, when we start the Padayatra. I said, yeah, it'd be a good time. And so then, I had been kind of thinking about going to the Mayapur Festival. Originally, I wanted to go to the Kumbh Mela in 1989, but my godbrother, Avatar Dās, he was Bhakta Anthony at that time. He said, you really should go to the Gaur Purnima Festival. That's more of a devotee thing. And I said, okay. I kind of said, okay. I thought, okay, that's good advice. I respected him, and because he was been practicing for quite a while, and so he was going to take initiation in Mayapur. And so all of a sudden, like 4 days before Gaur Purnima, when they had the initiations, I had a few days before that I had decided definitely I'm going to go. So 4 days before I bought the ticket, the next day I went to Santa Monica, the federal building there. I got my passport. Then the next day I flew to San Francisco, got my Indian visa. Then the next day, I guess it must have been 8 days before Gaur Purnima, because there was those 4 days. I got my ticket, next day visa, next day passport, next day visa, and then the next day I flew. And I got there 4 days before Gaur Purnima. So I guess everything came together like within the last 10 days before Gaur Purnima. So I show up there, and Lokanath Swami was surprised. And so I asked him, well, can I take initiation here in Mayapur? And so he agreed at that time. And so, I'd never shaved up until this time. So I went to the barber, Mayapur bar, and got shaved up. It was all ready. I had my little nice sika. And then the night before Gaur Purnima, we had a meeting with Lokanath Swami, and he told me at that time that he told me at that time that he had spoken with Dhanabhir Swami, because he hardly knew me. He'd only seen me a few times, but he agreed to give me initiation. So he was asking Dhanabhir Swami about me at that time. And so he had been on the GBC at that time, and he said, well, there's a GBC rule that a disciple has to wait like 6 months after asking the guru to take initiation, so that the guru can check out the disciple and the disciples can check out the guru. There has to be like a 6 month, in between period. And it had only been like 2 weeks or less, maybe. So he said, we can't do it at this time, but maybe. And then he said again, maybe in May, we can do it. I guess that would have been 6 months. So I guess, he said, well, yeah, we'll do it later. And so he said, I accept you as a disciple, and I accept you as a disciple, and we'll do the formal initiation, later on. And I said, okay. So I felt good about that because he was happy. I didn't get all upset. So I was happy that he had accepted me as a disciple anyway. So then in the fall of, I guess in December of same year, 1989, he came again. He was coming, we're by, and I don't know if he was there. I can't remember. But anyway, I know Abai and there's one other devotee was with. They were both wearing saffron. So they said, "Oh yeah, Lokanath Swami wants to know if you still want to get initiated." And I said, "Yeah, sure." So he said, "Yeah, well, you're chanting 16 rounds and everything." I said, "Yeah." So we talked, and then they said, "Okay, Lokanath Swami will be in here on a certain day, so we'll do the initiations, on January 4th." And so I shaved up again, second time, and actually got initiated this time. There are 4 of us in the San Diego temple. I felt a little, it would have been nice to get initiated in Mayapur, especially with Bhakta Anthony, who later became Avatar Dās, and we were good friends, and we traveled together in India after that. After the Mayapur Festival, we traveled together to Vrindavan. But I was also very happy that we were doing it in San Diego Temple because, that temple is very dear to me, and it's one of my first temples. And also, my wife could be there, and my older daughter was there in her room. She was born like 2 days later after the initiation. So, and plus all my friends were there, so it was nice. And there were only 4 of us got initiated, so it was very intimate. Like the Mayapur Festival, hundreds of people are getting initiated. It's like a big, huge thing. And so it's grand, but it's not as intimate. So there were only 4 of us, and only 2 of us were taking first initiation. The other 2 were, one of them was getting reinitiated, and the other one was getting Brahman initiation. So there were only 2 of us getting names. Oh, I don't know if the other one got her new name or if he just reinitiated her with whatever name she had. But yeah, it was really a very special experience. And I remember Umapati Swami, who was in the first group of initiates at 26 2nd Avenue in New York. He put my neck beads on, my first neck beads. My initiation neck. My initiation neck. Umapati Swami.
Umapati Swami.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that was very special. So yeah, I was happy with the situation. So then, Tukaram Das, he's a temple president in Laguna Beach. So anyway, he was Bhakta Todd at that time, and he was distributing books with Vijay Prabhu, who was here at the festival, and he was like the #1 book distributor at that time in North America. So like he was training up Todd, to be a big book distributor. So yeah, he was getting to be pretty good too, and because he's a really good talker. And so he ended up, he was going to take initiation on Lokanath Swami's Vyasa Puja Day when he was going to be there. He was in Los Angeles for his Vyasa Puja. It was very unusual. He's always in India. I think there was only twice that I know of that he did his Vyasa Puja here in California. And that was the first time. And so that was 1992, July 8th, 1992. So Bhakta Todd, Tukaram Das, got that name on that day, and I got second initiation on that day. So that was a really special experience. Because, another really nice devotee, Rohini Kumar Swami, did the fire sacrifice. And then after the program there, after the initiation program, then we all went to the Zopi's house. That was the family that had the original program where I met Lokanath Swami, the people from Maharashtra. So we had a really nice program there, and Lokanath Swami gave me, my Gayatri mantra, and I started chanting it. So that was really nice. So that was the story of my initiation. So after that, I had, during 1989, I had a lot of association with Lokanath Swami because he did the Padayatra, the first Padayatra in America, which went down the West Coast. And I was there for the first 4 or 5 days when it was in the Bay Area, and then I was there for maybe the last 5 or 6 days from when they came into Los Angeles. Oh, probably more than that, at least a week, because they did Los Angeles and then walked all the way to Tijuana from there. So I joined like when they came into LA, and during that time we had the Rath Yatra Festival. Amazing Rath Yatra Festival. And then when he was in San Diego, we had John Mastami program with His Holiness Lokanath Swami in the Padayatra. So that was really an amazing program in the San Diego temple. So during that time, we had a lot of association with him. I even drove him to the airport in Tijuana from the San Diego temple. And that was a great experience also. So I had quite a bit of intimate association with him at that time, and then not so much until I started going to India regularly in 2001. I'd go to the Mayapur Festival every year. I went every year from 2001 through 2014, except for 2008 when I stayed back with my mother because she was ready to leave her body. So I had a lot of intimate association with him in Mayapur and also in Noida. So, he had his main temple's in Noida, but he has a lot of temples in Maharashtra. But he put a lot of energy into this temple in Noida, which we built a temple there in Noida from scratch. I did. He and his other disciples and well-wishers, they built a really nice temple there in Noida, and they opened it 2014 on Nityananda Trayodashi.
Just remember, Lokanath Swami Maharaj also did a documentary called Simple Village or something like that.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, that was really good, yeah. Yeah, we should probably promote that more because, Srila Prabhupada's last wish was not only that he had two things. One was that we cooperate with one another to spread on this Krishna consciousness movement, cooperate nicely to spread on Krishna consciousness, and second thing is to establish Varnashram Dharma. He said 50% of my mission's been completed, but now we have to establish Varnashram Dharma. So we really need to emphasize this more. We need to establish some self-sufficient communities where we can practice Varnashram in those communities. And hopefully the Mayapur project will turn into that. But now it's a little bit commercialized because there's so many pilgrims are coming there, and it's a little bit difficult to maintain. You have to have all these modern amenities when so many thousands of people are coming every day to Mayapur. But there's other projects in India, especially ones that are run by Bhakti Raghava Swami, where they're actually doing complete self-sufficiency, no electricity, they're completely off the grid.